Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Dina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as always, we can't really talk yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea. And today this tea is the loose tea blend that I buy here in the city of Nijmegen. It's named a Nijmeeg's Tots, which basically is the pride of Nijmegen. So it's a local lovely loose tea blend. It's a fresh one. It has a dried cornflower petals. It has some pineapple and some raisins to it. So it's like a fruity, fresh, lovely black tea. Not too crazy to say. So lots of things has been going on since last week's yarn talk video. I have plans. I finished some projects. I made good progress on some other projects. I had finished up some projects last week and I was actually not starting new, and that of course obviously caused me to be able to finish some other projects that I was currently working on. So I finished the Thoughts of Ireland, but I've not blocked it yet, simply due to the fact that if you do recall, last week I told that I had an accident on my bicycle or my bike, and therefore my knees are pretty busted, so to say the least. When I do the blocking of my projects, I do that on the floor, and that does require me to get down on my knees, and that's not been something that I've really been keen on doing because that would be a really painful experience. Thus, originally I wanted to have it blocked also before showing it, but I've just not been able to yet because my knees are still reasonably sore from that experience, which is a bit more than a week ago now. Finally, though, I can see it's really starting slowly to be better, but I do have sore spots still around that knee. It wasn't a pretty sight. I'm sure it might have looked fun when I took the stunt, but my body definitely disagreed. It did not find it very funny at all. But I finished the Thoughts of Ireland, so that's awesome. And the fun thing is, I had the idea it should be bigger, which probably it would be if and when blocked. But obviously not been able to block it yet due to the very simple reason I've not been willing to crawl around on the ground yet after the accident. Maybe I'll be fit enough to do it next week, and if not, it's gonna be in December. And then in December, I will also be blocking the panels for my Firefly Sweater. So when I get on blocking some pieces, I can just do all of the blocking. But for now, I need to be a little bit patient, waiting on my health, basically. But I finished the Thoughts of Ireland, and I had the idea it should be bigger. And it would be once blocked, because this is clearly a material that needs blocking. I do also need a little bit of wool detergent before I do start the blocking process, because else it will be a bit tendency of being static. And with the right detergent, you would prevent this static feeling after the wash. But here we have the gorgeous piece. And as I said, I thought it would be, well, it is wide, but I also thought it would be a bit deeper. But that is probably because I'm used to making the triangle shawls also, which do more like this, where this has more volume in the round because it's a circular form shaped. But also what I can easily see is I can go from here and I can really stretch it out. So once this is blocked, it will increase a bit in size. Quite happy with how it turned out. Also a bit here before blocking. It would be a half decent sized shawl, not a big one. If you wanted a bigger one, you would probably need to consider increasing more or repeating more of these, which is probably doable. But personally, I'm not sure if this is a shawl I would want to make again anytime soon, because some of the sections in the shawl, I found it a bit tedious or tiresome. So it's not a pattern that really speaks to me, as I would like to repeat this more often. But the pattern itself, like looking at it, is gorgeous. But would I really want to make it again? I'm not sure. I found it taking time enough. Maybe it's a lot because there was a lot of front loops and back loops, and with this thin yarn not being too clear and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, so generally I'm liking how it turned out, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it again. I do have yarn left. I actually have almost, so this is almost, well, it's not completely full skein. I broke into this skein, plus I still have a full skein. So this is yarn I have left. Not sure what I will be using these yarns for, but they will go into my yarn stash of alpaca from Drops. I might double layer this, or I might combine one of these maybe with a white or black or green or something like that in acrylic, and do a hat or headbands or something like that. Or I may just hold on to it for a bit to see if there's coming any fun project along that could be really nice to make from this. It's not much yarn, so if it would be a one color project, it would have to be something small or double layered, as I mentioned. Alternatively is simply to get more of the yarns or combine it with other alpacas. I do have a few other Drops alpacas, though not in the green, so I'm not really sure what their end purpose will be yet, but they will go back in my stash, which also means that I do free up this crate, and there will go a new project in, because I did have a poll for my members as to what Drops projects I should start on next. And I found that, and we will talk about that later this video, how that ended up. But yeah, the Thoughts of Ireland has been finished. I will show you the Thoughts of Ireland again once more once I have this project blocked. But the blocking might need to take another week or two before I can actually show it to you guys, because, well, we talked about my niece, right? So so that's about that. Then I also finished the hats I was working on. I was working on a crochet hat in the Julia yarns, and I said that I had the feeling that I was about a little bit short of the one skein I had expected it would take. And therefore, when I had the power outage Tuesday, I went to the city together with my in-laws. I did not have time to record anything from the store, but I did went to the store to see if I could get that same gray as I used for the hat, and I could. So I bought a skein of gray. But as you can see, I have a full skein here of gray Julia yarns. But I also finished the hat, because apparently one skein was enough, and I have this much left. Hallelujah! So now I have an extra skein, which I can make a new hat from, optionally, or something else. I really like how this turned out. I do have my mannequin doll here as well. I think I have about a bit more than a meter and a half yarn left, maybe a meter and 20 centimeters, so it's not like a lot. It's still a little leftover, which I'm keeping, because I have this idea, because I actually do enjoy making hats of the Julia yarns, so I might use more scraps of different colors, combine them, and make some sort of a scrap hat project sometime out in the future. But yeah, this is how it turned out. And as I said, I do have my hat mannequin here, so what we could do is we could just put on the hat here for a minute for you guys to see. So here we have the final result. This hat fits like a medium-sized hat, I would say. It fits me slightly on the tight end, but not too tight. That could maybe be solved by 1 or 2 extra stitches in the round. But generally this, I think, worked out really, really nicely. Quite happy with the result. So when I did the shopping, obviously, as I said, I did get some extra yarn, because I do have the Julias also in other color skeins, so I did get those. But I think we need to talk about that a little bit later. Or actually, we could also take it now. Yeah, we could take it now. So, you know, originally I had made this version, which was definitely too small for me. And I did that in the 5mm hook, because that was what the pattern called for. And I had the idea that these yarns were actually pretty comparable. But it comes down to this yarn actually recommends a 6 to 7mm crochet hook. And this I worked in a 6mm hook. So that's actually the size difference of a 5 and a 6mm hook. So it did turn out bigger as expected. So clearly I just need a 6mm to do that. I could also increase it and use a 6.5mm in it maybe for this, to get that little bit bigger size, and it might actually still turn out really, really okay. What I do like about the 6mm hook is I can feel that this is slightly more soft, where this seems a bit denser in the make. It's still a nice hat, but this somehow feels better to the touch, which is logic because it is a looser fit in the sense of it's the material is not as compressed due to the smaller hook. So I would definitely recommend using the 6mm for this yarn as a minimum, because yeah, that just turned out nice. It's not bad, it's just I like this better. So that is basically the size difference. Let's see if I can actually put them on top of one another so you can better see it. This is the difference between the 6 and the 5mm, the 6mm being the back and the 5 in the front. So that's nice, I'm happy. And since I already had a blue and a white in my stash, and I did have the feeling I might need more than one skein to finish a hat, I didn't only get a ball of gray, I also got a ball of the white, which is a lovely nice white, and I got a ball of the blue. So that is what it ended up with. But the thing is, all of these also could go well together, or the blue and gray goes well, the white and gray goes well, and the white and blue goes well. So I might end up making some different color combinations here, where, for example, the herringbone piece is a different color. What I also am considering is to make something similar here with the ribbing, and then make some half doubles here before going back to the ribbing. But the half doubles, I want to use this leftover yarn that I have from the Papatia Joyful, because the yarn contents of this is also just like the Julia, 80% acrylic and 20% wool. They come very close size-wise also when you look at the yarns next to one another, right? They are both like twined, thickness-wise, they're very, very similar. This is slightly longer on the length, but that's the only difference, but they really are quite comparable. And I think these two could go nicely together, because the dark blue here actually matches pretty well up, I would say, with the Julia yarns. So I'm thinking I could do that, like start on the blue and then make room for a different color, and then, for example, still end up with the blue. That is definitely something I've been considering as well, because I do have this left over and I don't know what to use it for. And I tried making a headband with it, but that was way too little yarn. So maybe that is just the solution, to make a hat combined with the Julia yarns. And that might be a project I could figure out starting a bit on next week. It is at least pending in my mind. It's not a bad idea, I think. So so there is that. And let's see, what else do we have? We have a lot of we have a lot of progress on the other projects I've been making. Let's dive into those. Fleur is the mosaic blanket that I'm working on. It's designed by Anke Wintermans, Dutch designer, awesome mosaic designs, using a 4mm crochet hook together with these yarns. And I did good progress. So I was about a bit more than a quarter into round 56 when we left last week's yarn talk video. And this week I've made it to and finished row 65. So I've basically almost finished another 9 rows, if I count correctly. And that is looking awesome. I'm just putting the crate a little bit to the side here. And yeah, it's making good progress. So here we go. Another almost 9 rows added. And I can't be in full frame anymore. so you can get to see half. Wow, huh? It's grown so much it can no longer be in my project crate. It's now just like folded and placed on top of it. I still need to figure out either a new project crate for it or what to do. I need a bigger top, basically. I guess I need a bigger top. But the other tops I have that could be really useful for it also contains yarn. I'm not too keen on emptying those boxes yet. At least not right now. I finished red, the claret red. This is how much I have left. I did cut it. I do need to weave in ends. I have an end here that I need to weave in. I did not do that yet because I do actually want to finish the round of red, not the round of red, the round of cream white, so around 66 before I do so. Saying that I'm at around 65 also tells me that I'm technically, if you look at the amount of rows, halfway through the blanket, but in reality, I'm not even close because every row increases by 8 stitches, right? Every row, every round. But if you look at the amount of numbers in total, because there's 129, I'm more than halfway. But in reality, I'm definitely not. That said, I really put in lots of work on it this past week. So maybe it's not going to be an eternity project at all because I made great progress, yet it's only like 2 colors in. I found the Fuchsia Purple that I'm going to change into. So this is the next color we will use for the background color. Stylecraft Special DK yarns. It's 100% premium acrylic. Fuchsia Purple is the color, which is the 1827. I do not recall on top of my mind how many rows I need to do of this. But I need to do a row of cream and then this is going to be added. What I will do is before I start that, to keep better track of the yarn with how I work, I will cake it up in these lovely round cakes with my cake winder, because that works so much easier than when these are like half loon skeins, either due to whatever reason and whatnot. It just feels like it works much nicer and much more fluid for me. So I do take the 5-10 minutes it takes to sit down with the cake winder and actually wind up this nicely. So that is a task for this weekend so that I know it's ready to be added to the project here. The back side, for those that's curious, is still this lovely negative imprint of the blanket. And yeah, it is really growing nicely. I'm quite happy with the progress. And yeah, once we have the next round made, we are ready to add this. So that will be this going into different colors. And I do know we head into some darker purples and some blues and greens towards the end. I am still looking forward to see how this in the end will turn out. But the claret has been finished and I'm just keeping all these small scraps. Who knows, maybe I can make some fun small things from that as well in the end. Because yeah, it makes most sense to use as much as your scraps as possible when able. So again, also pleased with the progress of the Fleur, which I really had time to work on. And we knew that was going to happen because I was having so many projects that was likely going to be finished up. And I did not plan starting on any new, at least officially not. And I didn't. I was a good girl. I didn't start on any new projects, even though I felt like starting on new projects because I see people making stuff and I'm like, oh, I could do that as well. That's a great idea. Or I just get tempted to do it. We do have some projects that I do really need to get started this coming week. And that's also, we have more projects that's slowly finishing up. As you see, right now, I only currently have 2 active projects that I'm working on. How did I manage to only have 2 projects? What happened? Anyhow, the next project that I am working on, which is still not finished, which might actually finish next week because this is going fast, is the Aranel Shawl, which I'm making in the alpaca cake. from YarnArt, and I'm going to see if I can actually show this without destroying the cake too much. This is what I have left. It is my project crate because that is how I best keep track on the cake when I work from the center out. And we are working on the edges, on the top edge, which is a bunch of puff stitches. And this is why this is going to, well, I wouldn't say it's going to be quick because puff stitches, who loves puff stitches? I'm just asking. It looks gorgeous, but I hate doing them. I'm missing, if we look away from this single puff stitch up here, on the 2 half double crochets in the beginning, well, there's 3 half double crochets and 3 puff stitches and 2 chains. If we look away from this little bit on this row, I have 6 rows left, or I have 5 and, oh, what's missing on this row? So it's almost 6 full rows I have left on this shawl, then it's finished. It is, though, quite a row because I need to do puff stitches from here to here, multiplied by, well, 6. So we still have some way to go, but you can really see it's starting to turn gorgeous tealy. Well, right now it looks more like light blue. It's more visible to your eye than it is to the camera, I'm sorry. But we are definitely heading into these teal colors. So that's nice. It's a quite simple shawl to make because it's mainly half doubles, as you can see from the beginning, with the exception of the line edge of puff stitches. It's all these half doubles, which make it an irregular shaped shawl, but it is quite gorgeous as how it is. It was nice and simple to make the half doubles. Was it tedious to some extent? Was it nice because it was mindless? Yes. It was something I could take and sit with me on the couch when I was watching a series with my partner, or just binge watching something myself. And I have to admit, this last week, I have been crocheting and watching his dark materials because many years ago, it's not that many years ago actually, but some years ago, before COVID, I believe, I did watch The Golden Compass, which is basically the same movie of the same series, but it kind of didn't feel complete. Then HBO made the full series of his dark materials, and I realized I actually only watched the first season. And then I don't know what happened, why I didn't watch the following seasons. There's 3 seasons in total, and I do believe it's like 8 episodes, 7, and then 8 episodes again, or something like that. So I've been binge watching that. I'm getting closer to the end. I'll probably admit that I'm probably going to be finished this weekend watching that series, and then I'm hunt on something new. But his dark materials is what's been keeping me company while been crocheting some of these things, including Thoughts of Ireland, but also some of this. We did also, I do believe, the last couple of rows here, plus maybe some of the first row or something like that of the puff stitches. This Wednesday, when I popped up live this Wednesday afternoon, this week. Happy with the progress of this, and I do feel this might actually finish up maybe before next week's yarn talk. It's possible because it's not that much left, and puff stitches does take or eat more yarn. So there is a reality for me to actually finishing the Aranel Shawl. The pattern calls for a 4mm hook. I've used a 4.5mm hook. I can do that because of 2 things. I have a little bit tighter crochet tension. It's not that much bigger of a hook for this, I think. And I like to have a hook with each project, like kind of belonging to each project. So I'm not trying to hunt hooks over everywhere and so on. And the 4mm is with my Fleur Mosiac blanket, and will be for quite a while. So I either need an extra 4mm hook. I do have more 4mm hooks, but I do really love the Clover soft touch hooks. That's just a reality. And it's not so much because I enjoy the grip. I enjoy the hook itself. It's nice and smooth. It just slides easily through the yarns. So that's kind of just what speaks to me. Aranel Shawl is likely, as I said, not sure, but it will be pretty close to completion, if not complete, next week, Friday. And I think it would also look nicer with a little bit of blocking. It doesn't need a lot, but I do believe these puff section will be a bit nicer if they just get blocked out, so they are a little more distinct. That's pretty much it. Nice and warm. The cake is, as I said, it's a YarnArt Flowers Alpaca, which is similar to the Hobbies Wheel of Alpaca, which is what the pattern is made of. Actually, I do believe it is the same yarn. It's just made on the same factory, different labels, different colors. And it is 80% acrylic and 20% alpaca wool. It's 250 grams to, I do believe it's 940 meters, which is a bit more than 1,000 yards. Gorgeous. I like so far how this is progressing. And as I said, I imagine this maybe being complete for next week's Yarn Talk video. That would be kind of cool if I manage. But I also now have the hat we talked about. What else do I want to work on for next week's Yarn Talk video, or generally, what else do I have planned to work on? And I do have a few things laying here that we should talk about. The first thing I want to get started on making, and I've been waiting on the sizes, and I haven't received any. So I ended up sending a message to my cousin, for whose daughters I'm going to make some headbands. And I said, hey, I really need those sizes, because if I have to make this before Christmas and get it shipped to Denmark, because I'm not going to Denmark for Christmas this year, and I do not know anyone in the nearby that, you know, somehow come here or we'll see them or something like that. So I'll have to ship this by post. May have to find a few other things I want to ship by post as well, because, well, I can make a nice little package to go. We'll have to see what's easier for me. But I want to make headbands for my cousin's daughters. I don't see them very lot. In fact, I'm actually quite sad I don't see my family a lot in Denmark. And I want to make sure that the older generation know that I exist, because obviously we do talk and so on, but the younger generation don't remember me as well. So I just want to make an extra present to for them to open for Christmas, to maybe keep me in memory or something like that. And I thought I just want to make something small and simple this year, so why not make headbands? Which is, I made this fits me. It's a little bit on the edge. It's a little bit too on the smaller edge for me, but it fits me. And then I happen to have bought these K.A.M.E Bonjour yarns, which is the exact same yarns I used for this. And I had an extra skein because I wanted to make the cowl, which I made successfully. And then I came to think, hey, I could actually make use of these to make headbands to send to my cousin's daughters for Christmas. And the one has the favorite color is light blue. This would be probably the closest I get to light blue. And the other one's favorite color is pink. That would probably be the closest I can get. So they're different. And that gives them the ability to have two different. So that is my plan right now, is that I'm going to make these headbands for them. And it would be a really good thing if I can do that either this weekend or the coming weeks, so I can actually get planned on getting it shipped, so it hopefully will arrive in time, because it still takes a few days to get stuff to Denmark, depending on the chosen carrier you use for shipping. And for me, that would just be the National Post Service here, which usually would take couple of days. But it is getting more busy now because Black Friday is this week. We have lots of other things, and people are starting to ordering all their Christmas presents, and they tend to do that more and more on the internet. Therefore, shipping times increase. Thus, I really want to get started on this this week, so I can get them done and out and shipped, and see what else I might need to send that direction, at least for now. So that is the headbands, and they are the Anemone. They're based on the Anemone headbands, which is a Drops design. but I kind of adapted them to work them in the round because that looks nicer. So it's more like based on the idea, but it's not the exact pattern that I'm following. But we can still call them the Anemone headbands if we should, or the star headbands, because it is the star stitch in the round that I'm working up with. And it is a thicker yarn, so I will be using, I do believe I used a 9mm crochet hook for it. Or 7 or 9mm. No, I think 7mm maybe. I don't remember. I'll need to check my notes. Regardless, I'm using a reasonably bigger crochet hook for it, and therefore they work up nice and quick. So they are nice and quick makes. It's probably gonna be like an hour each or something like that. Maybe not. So that's nice. Quick makes. I like that. Then, more importantly, as we finish the Thoughts of Aranel Shawl, I put up a poll on my Facebook community, my YouTube community, for all my YouTube members. So not my subscribers, for my members. There's a little bit of a difference here because the members do support the channel in a different way. And therefore I felt that they should have the opportunity to influence which Drops project I should work on next. And the voices have spoken. There is 66% vote. Actually, it's not been that many votes. It's just been a few votes, but still the majority has spoken for the Spearmint Poncho, which is a capelet. I've linked to the pattern here in the description box down below, and that is using the Drops Muskat yarn, which I bought more than a year ago. Exactly for this project in mind. I just haven't had time to start it. Plus, I promised myself only to work on one Drops project at a time. And then I backed up the yarns for each of the planned projects to ensure that I wouldn't use it on something else. And I added these labels saying what it was. And it's the Spearmint Poncho, which is a short poncho / shoulder warmer with a gorgeous edge. And I am going to be using this Drops Muskat yarn, which is 100% mercerized cotton yarn in a DK weight, and it is the color Mint. And obviously that is also what color was used for the original design. Let's talk a little bit about this yarn. It's made in the EU and it's Oecotech certified. Drops is a Norwegian yarn, 100% mercerized cotton, as mentioned earlier. It is belonging to what they call yarn group B, which is basically saying this is a 50-gram skein, so 1.75 to 1.8 ounces to 100 meters, so 109 yards. So they recommend a 4mm crochet hook for this, which is probably, I need to find an extra 4mm hook, or I need to move the hook between the two projects. I can't work on both at the same time. But this yarn is going to enter the project crate of the Thoughts of Aranel shawl, because we are gonna make the Spearmint Poncho from a yarn studio. Looking forward to work with it. It's a nice cotton, it feels good, and it has this lovely shine, and that is purely due to this process of mercerizing it. So gorgeous. I'm looking forward to working with this. I have 8 skeins, and I should need like 7 in fact, but I have 8. Looking forward to see how this is going to turn out. Definitely going to become a really nice project. Should I have extra time? I'm actually not sure I will, looking at all these ideas I have. But in the event that I get bored by any of the other projects I have here and we talked about today, I have one more project thought out. Originally, I wanted to start designing my bag, but that's a little bit pushed out right now because I do realize I have a few things I really want to get off the hook. Therefore, let's do that first. And then what I wanted to do maybe was starting on the Daisy Daze bag, which is a bag that is combined of regular crochet stitches and granny squares. It's also a Yarn Studio / Drops design bag, but I'm using the recycled cotton yarns from We Love Yarn to it. And that is the yarn that you saw in the yarn haul video from this week, Monday, from Hobby. So we have this wheel of yarn in sand and in beige. Or no, I do believe it's off-white actually. Just a moment. It's off-white. So sand and off-white is what I need to use for these granny squares. And the beige is going to be the main color. And there's just a little bit of the off-white in the granny squares itself. So therefore it's mainly going to be this beige bag. And I thought, well, I could slowly maybe start working on the granny squares for this bag, but I would have to read the pattern to see how and what. And this is like, only if everything else gets, I want to have something simple or whatnot, then I will go into this, but it's not sure. But I've kind of now put the note out there, so you would not be surprised if I talk about it next week's Yarn Talk video, though I do have the feeling that I will be more than busy enough, because now I have this great idea for the hat to use some leftover yarns. I have great, I definitely need to get those headbands done, and we have a poncho we need to get started on. So I'm not sure if I'll reach it. It's like a maybe. It kind of depends on how much free time I have, and that depends on how life kind of will go the coming week. I think we are getting closer and closer to be caught up. I also have a few leftover yarns that I've been considering on making some keychains with. That's again for a future headache me, because I'm not kind of 100% on how I'm gonna work them out, but I know there is possibility. So it's gonna be something I will have to sit and fiddle with. Again, not right now. I think it's not gonna be this week after all, unless I get bored of everything else. It's like if you have your chromo, you go, you know what I mean. If you're in the mood, basically, it's that simple. If you haven't done yet, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. Thank you for watching all the way to here. It was absolutely a pleasure to hang out with you. Take care and happy crafting. Bye.